What's up guys, I made it to the beautiful Round Rock, Texas, and I am headed to 52 Social to the new card club to go play on a live stream, 1-3, $600 buy-in, but it's match the stack, so this game's gonna get crazy. Let's go do this. I made it to 52 Social in Round Rock, Texas, and oh my, I have got a lot of great stories and poker hands to share with you on this week trip that I had here in Texas. And this room is absolutely amazing. The chips, the felt, the chairs, the staff, the bar in the back, and the food is absolutely amazing. I have not one bad thing to say about this poker room, and I expect that as it grows, it'll get a lot more action and a lot more players, and I'm excited to see where 52 Social takes itself in the next year or two. As I'm sure you've heard, I'm here for the 52 Social Vlogger Week featuring Ryan DePaulo, Ben Deach, Joey the Mush, and myself, and it was an action-packed week and I'm excited to get into it, so let's play some poker hands. We're playing 2-5 match the stack. I'm going to be in for the max to start, which is $1,000. It does get big and these stakes are not what I'm quite used to playing, so it's great for me to get out of my comfort zone, play some bigger pots, and try to not worry about the money amount and just play poker. So let's get into the very first hand. So in this hand, it starts out with a raise to $20 from under the gun 3, and he has King 10 suited. Zenith, who is extremely active, and I learned very quickly to never fold top pair against this guy, he decides to flat with a good old 9-7 offsuit. It comes around to Ryan in the cutoff, and he looks down at Ace-5 suited, which is a great spot to put in the 3-bet, and he does just that, and he makes it $125. It folds to me, and I'm in the big blind, and I look down at pocket jacks. I think my best option here is to try and flat, hopefully get to a flop, flop a set, and hopefully cooler somebody. The only sucky part about this spot is if we get 4-bet, we just have to put in the fold with this hand most likely, but against these players in what I assume would be some loose ranges, we're gonna peel here and hope to hit the flop. Luckily, the original raiser folds, Zenith calls, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. The flop is absolute gin for us. It comes Ace, 9, Jack, Rainbow, and we flop ourselves middle set on an ace high board.
Oh my god.
Pretty much the dream. It checks around to Ryan, and I expected a c-bet from him a ton of the time, but he decided to check, so some of his checking range here will be some of his suited wheel aces, like exactly the hand he has ironically, but otherwise I would expect most of his range, and the fact that he has range advantage on this board after 3-betting, I was definitely expecting a bet, and I was kind of bummed that it checked through. But nevertheless, we head to a turn card, which is another 9, so now our hand has upgraded to a full house, and we have this board locked up. I can't check and risk this hand checking round again. We need to get some value for our full house, so I put together a bet of $170, a little under half pot. Zenith almost instantly goes all in, and I am loving life.
I'm just so freaking excited.
Now I just have to pray that somehow Ryan does have a monster hand and decided to check the flop for whatever reason, but unfortunately he puts in the fold, and of course we snap call, show our hand, and Zenith slaps the table and says very nice hand, and we had a good laugh about it. He was such a good sport and so fun to play with, and on the second live stream, which you'll see in an upcoming vlog, we did get to sit next to each other and we had some great conversation. So now in our very first hand, we are up over $600. It definitely takes away some nervousness to win my first pot, give me some cushion and ammo to continue to play and hopefully win a lot more pots tonight. This hand was a bit of a weird one where I believe there was a straddle under the gun to $10, and Kenny next to act wakes up with pocket rockets and he elects to put in the sneaky limp. I'm next to act, and for some reason my cards didn't register, but I indeed had Ace, King of Spades. I'm definitely going to raise it up here, and I'm going to size up just a little bit since there's a straddle and a call, so I make it $50. Chris calls with Jack 9 of hearts in the hijack, and the button calls with Ace Jack offsuit, and Kenny decides to call here, which I find extremely interesting, so we're going 4 ways to a flop against pocket aces. The flop comes 7-8-7 with 2 spades. Even though I was the pre-flop raiser, I think it's good on a paired board, even though we have nut flush draw, to try and realize our equity as it is distributed amongst 3 other players. And for balance, it's also nice to keep hands like nut flush draws in our check calling range, especially out of position. So the button, being in position, tries to make a stab at this, and he bets $55. I call and Chris calls with his gutter, and so we head 3 ways to a turn card. The turn comes a 10 of hearts, and again, I'm just gonna check here and most likely give up if he fires a sizable bet. So I do check, and Chris decides to fire after binking his straight, and he puts out a bet of 75. He bets 75 into $457, so it's such a small bet. I'm super happy to take a cheap card here and see the river. So I call, and the river comes an offsuit queen, complete brick, and no help to our hand. So we put in the check, he bets, and we're just gonna fold here and live to see another day. So getting involved in a couple hands, I now am down to being only up $100, which is still awesome, but the game was getting a bit bigger, people were topping up, so it was time to add on, so I added on another $500. In this hand, I'm under the gun, and I look down at pocket kings. Knowing the action and the craziness taking place on this table, I have high hopes, but unfortunately, it is immediately crushed, so you all must feel my pain as well, because everybody folded.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
In this hand, there's a raise in early position with ace-jack offsuit, a couple callers, and I decide to peel in the big blind with queen deuce of diamonds, shout out to Israeli Ron. I probably shouldn't even be peeling this hand, but I decide to call, and we go 4 ways to a flop of 3-5-9. It checks around, so we head to a turn card, which is the queen of spades, so now we have a top pair with a really bad kicker. It checks around to Zenith, and he decides to start firing, and he puts out a bet of $20. Only I make the call, so we head to a river card. The river is the 4 of clubs, and I check it over to him, and he puts out a bet of $75. At the games I'm used to playing, usually when people bet 2 streets, they just have it, and in this game, with the price I was getting, I just need to be putting in the call here, so don't fillet me too much for the nitty fold, but don't worry guys, we get him back. In this hand, we battle against Joey the Mush. In middle position, I look down at King-Queen offsuit, and I decide to raise it up to $20. Joey, who has been the absolute tightest one at the table, not playing many hands hardly at all, he puts in a 3-bet to 75. It folds back around to me, and King-Queen offsuit out of position against 3-bet against a tight player just absolutely sucks. We have to hope he has a hand exactly like he has, and even if that's the case, he can put pressure on us post-flop, so it's just not a good spot, not a good hand, and I elect to put in the fold and live to see another day. This hand was another interesting one where I completely learn a valuable lesson in how to peel your whole cards when you're playing PLO bomb pots in Texas. So I'll be highlighting a few PLO bomb pots on this vlog, and if you don't know what a PLO bomb pot is, basically we all put in $10 pre-flop, the dealer runs the flop, and then we play the hand normally after that. So in this hand, I have Queen 8 6-5, but I thought I had Queen 8-5, so I thought I flopped top set here. I put out a pot size bet of $90. It was around this time where the action started, where there was a call and then a raise, and then I re-looked at my cards and realized I did not have top set. In fact, I just had 2 pair. So after my bet, there was a raise and then an all-in, and that's when I realized I need to get out of this pot as fast as possible. So I look at my cards again, smile, chuckle to myself after realizing my mistake, and I toss my cards into the muck as I lit $90 on fire.
All right, taking a quick break here off of stream. It's been super fun so far. I love this room, it's really nice. I'm super impressed with everything here, and so far, actually up a little bit on the streams. I had a big hand, my very first hand, but let's see if we can keep this going. This is so awesome, and I'm having a blast. So, all right, I'll update you guys shortly.
This hand turned out to be one of the biggest pots that I've ever played. It's another PLO bomb pot. I get dealt 10-8-7-3, and the flop comes Jack 7-8. So we flop the nut straight on a board with no flushes available. I can barely play 2-card no limit hold'em, let alone a 4-card game, so I am completely inexperienced when it comes to how to approach these spots, but I did decide to check, and if anyone bet, I was planning on check raising, so that's exactly what happens. There is a bet by Zenith who has top pair and a straight draw, so he bets $90. David actually flops top set here with Queen Jack Jack 6, and he decides to call as well. Now it's time to bump it up, as I know we have the best hand at this point, so I pot it and make it $425. Zenith thinks for a little bit, but then goes all in, and now it's back on David.
He knows at this point his top set is not good, and we actually had dinner with a couple of us later that night, and he said he knew I had the nuts, so he knew the board would have to pair, and being up against 2 players, he had less than 20% equity in the hand, so he wasn't sure he had the correct odds to make the call, and luckily for me, he makes the fold. So Zenith and I are now heads up in a $3.1 thousand pot, which is one of the biggest pots I've ever played. I would be lying if I said I wasn't super nervous, and I asked him if we could run it twice because I honestly thought I was up against a set. I wanted to take the route with less variance because this was a big pot to me. He said, I don't normally run it twice, but for you I will, and the cards ran out. The first board, I end up making a full house, and on the second board, the case 10 comes out, so we end up chopping the second board, so I am gonna scoop 75% of this pot, and it was one of the biggest pots I've ever won, and it feels awesome. The reason I said it was lucky for me that the top set of jacks folded is because he would have made a better full house on the top board, and on the second board he would have rivered a higher straight than me, so I avoided losing my entire stack. And instead, I am now up over $900 on this live stream.
So Ashley, or PokerfaceAsh, is our leader right now, followed by Kenny.
In this hand, there's a limp from Zenith with King Queen offsuit, and David is on the button with King 9 offsuit, and he elects to put in the raise and makes it $35. I'm in the big blind, and I look down at Jack 9 of hearts. I decide to peel and call the $30, and Zenith also calls, and Chris calls as well, so we're going 4 ways to a flop. The flop is Jack 10 9, all diamonds, so we flop 2 pair on this monotone board. It checks around to Zenith, who flops the nut straight, and he bets $125. It folds around to me, and against this particular player, I don't think I can fold 2 pair to him just yet, so I do make the call, so we heads up to a turn card. The turn does pair the board, but it's the wrong card for us. It's the 10 of spades. I check it over, and luckily for us, he checks as well, so we head to a river, which is an offsuit 6. And this is where I think I make a bit of a mistake. At the time, I was thinking I would put out a block bet, but I think I sized up too big for this block bet, and I put out a bet of $75. I think I should be betting way smaller here, or just checking, planning to fold. My hand is just not good enough at this point, so I don't like my bet of 75 at all. I think I need to go a lot smaller, or just check fold to a big bet. But as played, I bet, he called, and he wins with his straight. In this hand, there's a straddle under the gun, and it folds to me on the button, and I look down at ace 6 of clubs. I'm gonna raise it up here with the suited ace in position, and I make it $30. I get 3 callers, so we head 4 ways to a flop. The flop is King 9 deuce with 1 club, and it's a rainbow board. Everyone checks to me, and I definitely have range advantage on this board. I do have my backdoor nut flush draw. King high, very dry board, so I think I can apply max pressure to all their ranges because they're pretty capped. So I decide to start betting, and I make it $40. We get exactly what we wanted. We thin the field, and only Chris calls, so we're going heads up to a turn card. The turn is another king, so now I'd have to be extremely polarized here with my bet sizing because it's going to be hard for him to fold any pair at this point, and the only hands I'll get to fold is like a naked gut shot draw like queen jack offsuit, something like that. So he checks, so I decide to check and see a river card, which is a 9 of clubs. He puts out a bet of $50, and I have ace high here, which is going to be good a ton of the time, as I even thought he could have like a pair of deuces that got counterfeited and he tries to turn into a bluff, and ironically that's exactly what he had. So I did put in the call with our ace high here, and we are good, and we scoop a nice pot. So the stream was winding down, we only had a few more hands left, so it folds to me in middle position, and I look down at Jack 9 offsuit. Probably not a standard open, but I wanted to play another hand, so I raise it up to $15. Joey folds, Chris calls from the hijack, button folds, small blind folds, and Zenith calls in the big blind, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. The flop is ace, king, 6 with 2 hearts, and we do have the jack of hearts in our hand. They check it over to me, and I am literally at the stone bottom of my opening range here on this board, so I'm gonna start firing, and I put out a bet of $25. Luckily for us, they both fold, and Zenith said, "Did you just bluff me?" And for laughs, I showed him the bluff, albeit a small bluff, but a bluff nonetheless, and we end the stream on this hand, and man, what a ride.
Alright, so we were in the game for 1,500 because I added on when the stacks got a little bit deeper, and we were out for 1921 for a profit of $421. Let's go.
Wow, what a stream, man. I am learning how to play PLO bomb pots, but I made a mistake. I thought I had a set of queens on that one hand. Luckily won a nice one with the 10-8, and we ran it twice. This game's a little bit bigger for me, and these pots I'm not used to, so I was happy to run it twice, and it's alright. He got a quarter, and I got most of it, so super fun. Happy to be here and can't wait for tomorrow. We're gonna play a bounty tournament, 5,200 guarantee, and there's a $200 bounty on my head. So we'll see how it goes. See you guys tomorrow.
Well, that's gonna do it for this vlog. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, would you do me a huge favor and go all in and like, comment, and subscribe? It would mean the world to me. Stay tuned because there's gonna be another vlog from this trip. I have the bounty tournament to share with you, and also the meetup game where I played a monster pot with pocket aces, and then also another live stream where I got stuck almost $800 at the beginning. Can I recoup and can I squeak out a win? Find out on the next vlog. Remember, it's only up from here. I'll see you guys next time.